I'd like to welcome everyone to the Monday, September 16th, 2024 regular City Council meeting. If everyone would please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by a moment of silence. Mr. City Manager, if you would please, sir.
Mayor and Council, the first thing we have tonight is a presentation about the upcoming Pennies for Progress vote. So I'm going to turn it over to these gentlemen.
Mr. Chairman, members of the council, thank you very much for having us. My name is Phil Leeser. Some of you may recognize my name. At one time, I spent 28 years with York County with the Pennies for Progress Capital Project Sales Tax Program, and very happily retired and handed it off to the guys who are there now. And they're doing a great job. What we're here today to do is just to kind of introduce you to the program itself, very briefly go over it. I know you got a lot on your agenda today. Briefly go over what it is, what it's got in it, and then obviously at the very end, we'd like for you to support the initiative itself, which will be on the ballot this November. It's going to be very important that we get the word out and we let people know what this program can do. It's also very important that we let them know that every single vote counts. It's going to be important that they come out. It won't just be people coming out to vote yes or no for the sales tax. It will be people coming out to vote for everything that's on there, and we're going to need to make sure that they're educated when they get there.
Hi, my name is David Bust. I'm also a volunteer with the Citizens for Safer and Better Roads. It's a real pleasure to be with you guys tonight. And if you have any questions, we're happy to answer them, but we thought we'd run through a quick slide deck here and give you the opportunity to give us any questions that you might have. So Pennies for Progress, the main focus of this initiative is for safety. We also have connectivity and prosperity for all residents of this county, and it really has done a lot for the quality of life for all of our residents. A yes vote for Pennies does not increase taxes. This is a continuation. We are now on Pennies 5. So for the folks that may have moved here, the reason why we have paved roads is because of Pennies. It's a great program. There are a ton of Pennies projects. On the website at the very end, there'll be a QR code. I'd love for you to click on it. You get the details. If you look at all those colors on that map there, those are all Pennies projects. They serve every bit of this county, not just one city, not just one area. It's universally a great county-wide project.
I'll mention one thing real quick. Sorry to prolong this, but I do want to kind of mention very quickly. What you see right there, that was 1996. That was everything the South Carolina Department of Transportation had planned to do in York County for the next 20 years. 4 projects, none of which were in the urbanized area. They were just outside of the urbanized area. They were very needed. They were important projects, but that's all the funding they had. What you see now in front of you with the colored map is everything that Pennies for Progress has accomplished, programs 1 through 4. 1 through 3, I think, were the best, but that was mine. Program 4 has done a great job to extend on that, and they did get in the program 4 the ability from the State Attorney General to allow for resurfacing, which is another thing that'll be on a component we'll talk about on this program as well. One thing we'll talk about, this is one of the biggest hurdles I think that we have to help the citizens understand. There is going to be a 7-year program. $410 million is the estimated revenue that'll come out of that. Of that 410, $225 million is going to have to be allocated to carryover projects. What does that mean? Projects that did not get funded from the previous program. Let me just very quickly say, the crew in charge now, they were well on their way to meeting every single expectation they had put out there. Sales tax program was on budget, and most of the time under budget and ahead of time. Boom, COVID hits. I don't want to blame everything on COVID, but the fact of the matter is COVID hit. It delayed everything. It created workforce issues, resource issues, and commodity issues, and that threw prices all over the place. Now, we can all sit here and talk about it. You go out to buy a loaf of bread today, it was $1 the other day, it's $2 today. You go out to get a gallon of milk, it was $2, and now it's $4. Those kinds of prices make it easier to understand, because when you start talking about road projects, you say, well, we missed it by $1 million. That's a lot of money. But when you're talking about a $20, $30 million project, it's not that much. The 225 will go to the projects that are carryovers. There is a list of those. I won't bore you with what those projects are, but they are very important, and they were very high priority in the previous program. Really the big thing is the $80 million for the 76 miles of road resurfacing. You all know, I'm sure you've heard from your constituents, road conditions are terrible. And the DOT is doing everything they can with the money that they have to come out and help with that. But if we don't help ourselves, we're not going to get out of that hole that has been generated after 40 years of the same sales tax, or same gasoline tax, I'm sorry, trying to pave roads when we increase the inventory so much. So $80 million can be done. I'll say very quickly that $80 million, county staff has already prepped all of those roads. As soon as the vote is approved, they can let a bid almost immediately. So this time next year, we will be well into maybe a second phase of resurfacing and getting some of those roads completed. US 21 from Highway 160 to Sutton Road, that is the final segment of US 21. The reason that's important for you all is because that will create that alternative to I-77 when things are bad. It also, believe it or not, will kind of attract people coming from the Lancaster County side to use I-77. Hey, now they've got a 5-lane infrastructure going up and down that parallels I-77. Maybe they don't have to come all the way over to I-77 and kind of jump things up there. $9 million for future widening of the Fort Mill Parkway. You all know Fort Mill Parkway got built. Very, very proud of it. But boy, did it bring some growth and some explosions. That is a project that at the time we were designing it, we knew. As a matter of fact, Federal Highway came in and said, hey guys, you're using federal funds. You cannot go in and just build a 2-lane road. You're going to have to build a 2-lane, but you're going to have to buy a 5-lane right-of-way back in 2010 when we did that. So we had to buy a 5-lane right-of-way. Well, that's great, because now we're going to come back in. We're going to widen the project. We probably will have all the right-of-way we need. It'll be a lesser cost there. $12 million for Neely Road. That's down in Rock Hill at a high school. I won't get too much into that. And then $38.9 million for 15 road intersections, which do include some intersections up here in TK.
So again, I know this map might be hard to see on your screen, so I really encourage you, if you have your cell phones, if you want to snap that QR code, that will take you to that larger map, and you guys can dig in and really see these projects that we're talking about. I'll leave that up for just a minute in case anybody wants to take a picture. Countywide intersection improvements. This is also really, really exciting news here that we have $38 million for intersections. You'll see some that you recognize here in TK on this list. These are some of the holdover projects that we spoke about. And then I'm going to hit some resurfacing projects, and I'll skip past some of the other ones. But by the way, again, all of this is on the website. Please hit it. Fort Mill and TK resurfacing roads. Stonecrest Boulevard's on there. Banks Road's on there. A lot of good value here for the county. There's a rather long video here. I know you have a big agenda tonight. Again, I won't bore you with this video, but Pennies for Progress is a fantastic program. So we really appreciate your attention tonight and letting us speak to you about it. Thank you very much, and vote yes.
Just in summary, I'll say that video is very educational. It'll tell you a little bit about how the penny became what it was today. The one other thing I'll say about it is, guys, there are people coming to this community that don't live here. They don't pay property tax. They don't vote. They come here to take part in our goods and our services. 40% is what the current estimate is. 40% of the sales tax that's generated in York County comes from outside sources. They're here using our roads. Let's get them to help pay for it. And if we don't, if this thing does not pass, number one, first and foremost, oh, God help us with all the projects we'll have out there that need to be done. But more importantly, the burden will be 100% of us who live here. Traditionally, that doesn't come through property tax, which is a good thing, but we're going to have to find an alternative source. And this seems to be working very well, and I think everybody's very pleased with it. Any questions? I'm sorry, but we probably went just a little bit too long.
Thank you all.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you very much, guys.
Okay. So we got some good stuff tonight. As we like to have some good stuff every once in a while. Well, we've done pretty well the last few weeks, months. We've had really, really good stuff. So this is a proclamation recognizing September 17th as Constitution Day and September 17th through the 23rd as Constitution Week. Whereas the United States Constitution maintains Americans' liberties, freedoms, and inalienable rights, whereas the daughters of the American Revolution and Americans alike have celebrated the Constitution through the observance of Constitution Week since 1956, when it was signed into law by President Eisenhower. And whereas September 17th, 2024, marks the 237th anniversary of the drafting of the Constitution of the United States of America by the Constitutional Convention. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed, we, the City Council of the City of TK, do hereby recognize September 17th, 2024 as Constitution Day and September 17th to September 23rd as Constitution Week. Lisa? And another proclamation that is near and dear to at least 3 or 4 of us in the room, Chief. This is a proclamation recognizing October 6th through the 12th as Fire Prevention Week. Whereas for over 125 years, the National Fire Protection Association has shared knowledge and information with regards to public safety to encourage preparedness, prevention, and reduce risk to communities. Whereas in 1922, NFPA has sponsored Fire Prevention Week to educate children, adults, and teachers on how to stay safe in case of fire. Whereas this year's Fire Prevention Week campaign is smoke alarms. Make them work for you, which emphasizes installing smoke alarms in every bedroom, outside each sleeping area, and on each level, testing them once a month and replacing them if they are 10 years or older. Whereas in conjunction with Fire Prevention Week, the TK Fire Department will be hosting their annual open house on October 13th. Now therefore be it proclaimed, we, the City Council of the City of TK, do hereby recognize October 6th through October 12th as Fire Prevention Week and encourage all to attend the fire department's open house to meet the firefighters, learn about the station operation and smoke alarms, and participate in safety activities and games. And I will throw something else in, Chief. If you need a tall guy to replace, you don't want to drag ladders out, just give Xander a call. He'll be more than happy to come and get it for you. No problem. You would go on. Told him he'd be good at replacing fire.
Thank you.
All right. I appreciate you. Yes, sir. At this time, we would cover public comments, but seeing as there are none, we have covered them. So we'll move directly on to approval of minutes.
Mr. Mayor, members of council, I'd like to make a motion to approve the regular city council meeting minutes for August 19th, 2024.
Have a motion, do I have a second? Have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously. That will bring us to our commission reports. Councilman Shirley, if you would, please, sir.
You bet. Mr. Mayor, members of council, the Economic Development Committee met on August 26th. The first item on the agenda was reviewing the minutes. They revisited membership to the committee with some clarification of some inactives. One member withdrew and moved out of the area, and one new member was brought into the commission. That was Dusty Flowers. There was a discussion of a Business Connect meetup that happened a couple of months ago. It was very successful. There was a lot to learn from that. The commission took that Business Connect very seriously to try and get business owners together, learning from them how we can grow our business footprint in TKK. The next Business Connect that they've put together, and they've done this in conjunction with the Chamber of Commerce. They've been very helpful with this, getting business owners together. Next one is actually scheduled for, I believe, this coming Wednesday, the 18th, here in, it's in the Glennon Center, excuse me. This month's Business Connect meetup will have a keynote speaker from Model A Brewery, one of the anchor businesses in our community. It's really nice to have this event for business owners to get together. So they're going to try and do a good job of getting these folks together with like businesses and like opportunities. A couple of notes for council, if you guys would oblige me for a moment. The Economic Development Committee has brought up on several occasions over the years, and on my tenure on council, attracting other businesses to the community, and business owners have consistently expressed concern to the Economic Development Committee when they've inquired about it, that two of the things that get in the way of businesses wanting to come to TKK is the tax rate and the business license fees. And the Economic Development Committee asked me to bring that back to you and also to staff to see if we can kind of get our heads together and figure out how we can open up discussions on and direction for Economic Development Committee on business tax and fees, or creating a reduction for the current business owners while other businesses come online. And we've talked about this in budget meetings in terms of how do you replace that revenue, right? So that's obviously a concern. But they are convinced, and I probably would agree with them, that as other businesses come on, there's probably a balance that we can create to begin to reduce fees as new revenue starts to replace what we might reduce for current business owners. So they've asked if we could kind of get our heads together and maybe put that on the agenda for a discussion, maybe include Bob and Charlie in those discussions to see if there's a way that we can attract additional businesses. In the not too distant future, we're going to be soliciting and attracting a lot of businesses in the area, and we want to make sure that we don't have any vacancies as we move forward with some of those projects. So that was something that was near and dear to their heart. They also had a request to see if there was any room for small business grants for beautification and signage upgrades for local businesses. Former Councilman Machunas is on the economic development. He and I had some discussion about that, knowing that TK is typically one of the last on the list when it comes to grants that come from the state or from the federal government. So we know that that's probably not a number one way that businesses are going to get funding. But one of the other things that they suggested, when a new business opens up, there's opportunity for a ribbon cutting ceremony that the Chamber of Commerce brings to town. The business owner, from my understanding from our discussion, the business owner is responsible for paying a fee to the Chamber of Commerce to come and do that ribbon cutting. It's not a lot of money, and there's probably 3 or 4 businesses a year that open up. They asked if we could help, as a city, if we would be willing to help cover some of the cost of that ribbon cutting to try and give that business a good kickoff and a good start to opening their doors and getting their business up and running. It costs about $300 from the chamber. They asked if we could partner with those businesses for about 50% of that when each of those businesses open. Like I said, it's not a lot of money that they're asking for. It's probably a lot more money to the business owner than it is to our budget if we can afford that and try and give that business a good opening opportunity. The Chamber also expressed a concern, and Charlie, this is probably more for you than anybody else, but they said that there was a lot of activity in the news about the East Charlotte area proposing taking more water from the Catawba River. I guess additional businesses and housing going in those areas. Our membership to the watershed group, do we have a seat at the table to have some discussions around that? Because I'm wondering if or how that might affect our community as we go forward. And I don't know if we have an answer for that, but I thought I would share that with you.
Yeah, we've had some preliminary discussions in the Catawba Wateree Basin. One specific question that I asked one of the guys was, what difference do we see? You know,
Right.
Charlotte Water's asking for, I think it's 30 million more per day on an interbasin transfer. He said, if you're not in drought season, you're not going to notice it at all. Okay, because obviously for us, we're on the lake, we're on the river. What impact's that going to have to our community?
Right.
He said during non-drought times, you're not gonna notice it at all. Doesn't mean that it's not still important, not still significant. We had that meeting probably, let's say it was early June, and at that particular time, Charlotte Water had just mentioned that they might apply for it. To my knowledge, they still have not applied officially yet.
Okay.
But once they do, it takes years to go through that process. So this is not an overnight, hey, they've applied, next month they're going to get it type thing. But as they apply and as it starts working, through that process, we'll obviously keep council in tune with what's going on. But yes, by being a member of the Catawba Wateree Management Group, we have a seat at the table to where we are part of those conversations, 100%.
So I thought it'd be good to know that 30 million gallons is the minimum, not the maximum. That's where they're going to start. It's 30 million. And there's not a ceiling. There's not a ceiling for it.
Well, there
that they've
will
written in
be
so
a
far.
ceiling.
But
Once
there's
they
not
make
one
their
yet.
official application, they'll have a not to exceed on that transfer. And obviously, it impacts a lot of cities, potentially. But a lot of it is being generated because of the massive growth in East Charlotte.
The biggest problem that we have, Charlie, with the interbasin transfer is, it's not like we use our water, it goes right back in when that water goes back in the Catawba Basin. interbasin transfer, they're talking about taking that water out and it does not come back.
Correct. Well,
It leaves our basin and it goes to a different basin. So
there's not
that's
a
the
mandate
big
right
problem that
now,
we have.
but that was part of the conversation we had in June is, can we make there be a stipulation that a percentage of that has to come back into the basin? So again, it's very preliminary right now. It doesn't sound like, outside of, I think the biggest drought we've had in recent times is probably '07, where we were in a severe drought. Outside of that, from what the experts are saying, the engineers are saying, you really aren't going to notice it, that transfer out, because there's so, when you're talking about starting at the top of that chain and coming all the way down, and going down through Fishing Creek and Watery and things like that, it's a lot of water. So yes, 30 million gallons sounds like a lot of water. From what I've been told by them, you're not really going to see it. You're not going to have a noticeable impact unless we get into those severe drought conditions again. And that's what their argument's going to be, is how do we protect ourselves from that? But
Right, 'cause that happens.
It's going to be a long process, but as it
Okay.
gets moving, we'll absolutely keep council abreast of what's out there.
Fair
I'm
enough.
sure that the folks a little bit south of us that just put a lot of money into that Whitewater Center down around Great Falls would have something to say about that.
Yeah.
But that will remain to be seen.
Last thing I'll share with council about Economic Development Committee is I am very, very impressed with the level of commitment and expertise that each one of those individuals brings to the table. Those folks are very, very committed to what they're doing. For a volunteer group to show up with their very best every month is really appreciated. So I'll give them a little commercial tonight.
Thank you, Councilman Shirley. Planning Commission, Councilman Hyslip, please, sir.
Thank you, Mayor. Planning Commission met on September 7th, had a full quorum. The one topic of discussion was the results of the Planning Commission survey on the Marine Overlay District. The survey had recently closed, so they reviewed the votes and the percentages of the votes and discussed that, but didn't delve into the comments. The majority of the members hadn't had time to read through the comments because there was over 500 comments, many detailed in length. And so their plan is to review these the comments over the next month, as well as look further into the numbers and do a deep dive at next month's meeting, and that's all they had.
Thank you, sir. Okay, with that, we've got a little unfinished business to take care of. This will be a second reading of an ordinance 596 to provide for the fiscal year 2024-2025 budget. This is the second and final reading of an ordinance necessary to set the budgets for the fiscal year 2024-2025. With that, I will entertain a motion.
Mr. Mayor and members of council, I'd like to present a motion to approve the second reading of the ordinance 596 to provide for the fiscal year 24-25 budget.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Do we have further discussion? Okay. Well, I would like to commend everyone who had a hand in this budget. I believe we've done a good job and to be good stewards of all the taxpayer money. I believe that staff, they've got the improvements and everything they need to facilitate the growth that we need to this next year for our staff. And I want to tell you, from everybody from me, thank you, council, for all of the hard work that you put into it. And I appreciate you guys turning over every rock and making sure that everything was done properly. Charlie, thank you for putting together a good budget. Thank you, sir. And the rest of the staff, thank you for all of the efforts and everything that you guys put in to make our budget right this year. So, has anybody got anything further?
Just one question. As I was reviewing this in preparation, Charlie, the projects and CapEx that we talked about in the workshops, is that those items absorbed into each of the departments now?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank
Yep.
you.
They're, for the most part, they're in the capital outlay line items in the appropriate departments.
Okay, I was looking for them on a separate page and didn't find
Now,
them. So
after the initial workshop prior to first read, we moved those dollar figures into the actual budgets.
very good. Thank you. That's it for me.
All right. Anything further? Okay, well, I'll call the question. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. The motion passes unanimously. Okay, we've got a consideration of appointing and approving a contract for the municipal attorney. Currently, the municipal attorney position is being filled on an interim basis. This item is before council to consider entering into an agreement for legal services and appoint a municipal attorney. Do I have a motion?
Mr. Mayor, members of council, motion to approve the agreement for legal services and appoint Chaplain Spencer with Spencer and Spencer as the municipal attorney.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Do we have further discussion?
Welcome. Glad to have you. Thank you. Yeah.
I'm surprised we didn't run him off the
We didn't
first
scare
time.
him off, did we?
We did good. We did good.
Charlie, would you make an official introduction?
I'd be glad to, Mayor Pro Tem Miller. Seated to my right is Chaplain Spencer of Spencer and Spencer Law Firm. He's been helping us out in the interim and has done a fantastic job, and I'm looking forward to continuing building that relationship and working with him for years to come. But, Mr. Chaplain Spencer.
Thank you. Glad to be here this evening, and have enjoyed the work so far and hope to continue the relationship and move it forward.
Thank you, Chap. Okay. With that, I'll call the question. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously. Okay. Next item's a little new business. It's consideration of approving an agreement with Lowcountry Wildlife Specialists LLC as a part of a wildlife management program. At the August 19th council meeting, council approved the first reading of the 2024-2025 budget, which included $304,000 towards the wildlife management for sterilization and culling. This item, if approved by City Council, would be authorizing Lowcountry Wildlife Specialist LLC to cull 80 deer within the city limits. Do I have a motion?
Mr. Mayor, members of council, I'd like to make a motion to approve the agreement with Lowcountry Wildlife Specialists LLC and authorize the city manager to execute all necessary documents as part of the wildlife management program.
Have a motion, have a second.
A second.
Which one?
All yours.
Okay. All right. Do we have any further discussion on this?
Yes.
Councilman
So,
Shirley?
Charlie, as we move forward with this project, I know the challenges that we've discussed about an additional 80, an additional permit for another 80 deer once this is executed. I had a brief discussion after our last meeting together with Dr. Charles Ruth. He shared the same sentiment and the same concerns, although he did say that if we felt like we were going to have a need for that, that he wanted to give us kind of a placeholder to meet with the board again in probably January. So I just wanted to share that with you, that if there was any steps that we need to take as a city or staff to make sure that we stay on their radar in the event that we're looking for that we have that opportunity.
We've got it on our radar that as soon as the culling ends, which should be sometime mid to late December.
Right.
Assuming that he is successful with that, applying for the additional 80, because that is the sentiment we have picked up on from council. But if we don't get to the 80, obviously try to come back in January to finish those ear tags. And
Right.
try to expire all 80 that we'll get from DNR.
Perfect. Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir.
So I still do not support the culling of the deer in our community. Just want to make sure I go on record for saying that. With that being said, I want to make sure that people recognize that the city has worked with the Catawba Indian Nation. So if approved this evening, if we cull some deer in our community, that meat or venison will go to the Catawba Indian Nation, and that has been upfront so they can focus on that. In addition to that, the Catawba Indian Nation has also agreed to pay for the processing fee for the culled deer that we have in our community, to go off and take care of that kind of stuff. So just want to make sure that we understand that. The price that we have on the contract might be a little bit cheaper. The logistics of the processing and working with Lowcountry Wildlife is being worked out now, but want to make sure that the community is aware of that.
That's a good point, Councilman. Yeah, so that could potentially reduce our financial risk if the Catawba Indian Nation is going to pick that up. So thanks for bringing that up.
Anybody have anything further?
Just one point, I would point anybody that is watching this evening, if you have any questions about this Lowcountry Wildlife, Mr. Dave Henderson, he came up 2 weeks ago for our workshop, and we were here for a couple hours talking to him and discussing his plan and his background, his experience. And so if you do have concerns, questions, and just want to see who we're hiring, please watch that YouTube video. And of course, you can also email or call any of us, but if you want to hear it, from the gentleman we're proposing to hire, he was here, and we were all, I think, significantly impressed with him, and that's why we're sitting here today.
Just one point, and this is for everyone that is here and that is also watching. As council and as city staff, there's been an enormous amount of hours and time and processing that has been put in place to really work through some of the issues that we ran into last time. We've talked through different scenarios. We've asked as many questions as possible to make sure that this goes as smoothly as it can go. And we appreciate the fact that all of you have trusted us to do this, and we've really taken it to heart and done our due diligence to answer a need and to provide as much thought and care behind the decisions that were made, and as we move forward.
Okay. Do we have any further discussion? Okay. I would like to say thank you to all the staff members that have devoted a large amount of time to this. I'd like to also say thank you to our PD for the first round we did last year. You guys did an outstanding job. A lot of long hours, a lot of overtime, and we just say we want to tell you we appreciate what you guys did last year to make sure that program was safe and that it was successful, and that we didn't have any injuries, and everybody went home that evening. That's really what we those few evenings. That's really what we wanted to accomplish, and I just want to thank you, PD, for doing that as well. In that, I will call the question. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
We have, let the record show, we have 4 yeas and 1 nay.
Respect, Councilman Carter.
That will bring us to our city manager's report, and if you would, please, Mr. Funderburk, take it away.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of council. Just some updates from our departments. Development Services, our new building official, started today. So we're glad to have Jeremy on board with us and looking for great things from him as he continues to settle into his new position. As Mr. Hyslip mentioned, the Marina Overlay District Survey is being reviewed by Planning Commission. They're final, and then they're going to start working through red lines at their next meeting. Nick had a meeting today with our Main Street developers, just covering some zoning clarifications and things like that. As I've mentioned to council, they may ask for an amendment that would center around just reordering their phasing. So instead of starting on the Dam Road side and working your way I'll call it counterclockwise over to Stonecrest as laid out in the PDD site standards, they're now talking about wanting to start on the Stonecrest side and work their way clockwise over to the Dam Road side. Either way, they're going to have commercial in the first 3 phases, regardless of which side they start on. So once they clear that up and make that formal petition to us, it'll go through that normal process because it does involve zoning. They'll have to go through Planning Commission. We'll do a public hearing, first read, second read on changing that. So we'll keep you abreast as that moves forward. Our permitting software implementation is well underway. Hopefully here in the next week or two, we're going to be able to launch that and go live with it. Staff is extremely excited. I think we're now meeting with the software company twice a week on that as we near the end of that implementation. Once that's implemented, the other modules will start getting implemented, which will include code enforcement and business license. So looking forward to those, getting the full package done, but definitely looking forward to having the permit software up and running. Just an update on permits, 58 zoning permits, 68 building permits, and 1 new house permit in the past month. So needless to say, that department is very, very busy. So we're excited to have Jeremy and our join the staff and helping out there. Utilities, we've got 2 vacancies that are getting filled this month as far as employees. We're also conducting service line inventory is underway, and then we'll get submitted to the Department of Environmental Services, formerly DHEC, before the split, and we should have that to them by October 16th. And the startups and inspections for the new lift station in River Falls has been completed, so they'll be able to get started on their second phase as far as home buildings and things like that. And I do believe their third phase just came in, their third final plat, and that's going under tech team review. So River Falls should start picking up a little bit more pace. Public Works, we've got 1 open position and 1 new employee who's, as they like to say, in the incubator, is in process. We're waiting some of the final street signs to come in so we can finish up that sign replacement project that our folks have taken on all year. The leaf transfer station permit was approved, and construction's underway. Weather permitting, that concrete pad will get poured this week. Looking at the forecast, my guess is probably next week. Got a lot of rain coming through the first half of this week, but site's prepped and ready for them, and they're ready to pour that pad. So, which will be just in time for our leaf vac season. That schedule should be coming out later this week. And I think we start up October 21st on the loose leaf collection. And the equipment storage area, we've gotten the stormwater pipe that needed to be replaced. It's done. The grading leveling with the stone is down, so should be getting that permit issued and getting that that portico, that covering, installed here in the next week or so, and have that done. Fiber update, Comporium is continuing installations from Winsong Bay to Colville, and Google is continuing installations in Water Trace, Seven Coves, Winsong Bay, and Silver Gulch areas. So lots of fiber going in the ground, as everyone has seen. Parks and Rec, we've got 1 new employee pending, so trying to get back up to full staff there, hopefully by the end of the month. Our maintenance crew will be back up to full staff, working to get it there. But tell you what, Dustin and his crew have done a fantastic job with the folks that we have and getting all the things done that they've been able to get done, being shorthanded. We've added some outside AEDs. We've got 1 at Catawba Park, and we've put 1 down at the lower courts, tennis pickleball courts. We're able to get those done. Dustin and Chief Hasty worked together on being able to get that. So excited to have those new safety features out there at our facilities. And we've also installed, because it seemed to be such a popular thing, we have installed a water fountain in the baseball complex area at Catawba Park. Thank you to those that have sponsored the other ones that got installed. Our staff was able to find some room in the budget this year and able to self-perform that. So got a water refill station at the baseball complex as well, to join the one that I believe the Mets family paid for out at the and donated out at the soccer side. So youth sports are well underway with games and practices. We wrapped up registration with approximately 2,300 youth sport participants. That's a lot of kids. It is a lot of kids, but everything's going great there. And big hats off to our programmers, Walker and Jimmy and Kira, for all the work they put in. August is a very hectic, very stressful month for them, but they did a great job there. And we've got our adult sports playing as well. So great job to the team. We are still looking for some officials for flag football. If anybody's interested, we'll get you trained up, teach you the rules, but we are still looking for some flag football referees. Events coming up, we've got Catawba Fest on October 12th. And Pumpkin Palooza. It's a pumpkin carving contest that Miss Caroline has come up with. That'll be on October 28th. Sign-ups are available online until October the 18th. So looking forward to another Catawba Fest, and looking forward to see what this Pumpkin Palooza, how it turns out. So, but again, all that information is on our website. Show Pro numbers, approximately 700 vehicles turned away from the weekend of May 11th to the weekend of September 7th. So I would say it was well worth the investment, and appreciate their efforts on the weekends down at Windjammer Park. I think they did a fantastic job for us. Court, we've got potentially have another jury trial coming up, and those summonses will be sent out October 1st. So just heads up. If you get one in the mail, it is real, and you are required by law to come. So, just want to give everybody a friendly heads up on that one. It is not a spoof or a scam. It is for real. PD, let's see. We've got a few vacancies out there, but we've got one conditional offer out with acceptance, and then just pending the onboarding process there. And then two conditional offers out for patrol positions. And looks like we may have the final grant SRO position filled. So working through trying to get back up to full head count there. We've got some great events coming up. Self-defense class for 14 and over females on September 27th at Gold Hill Middle School. Understand that sign up went quick once we put it out and made it available. So really, really proud of our officers for putting that together and hosting that. I think it's going to be a really good time. I tried to convince Chief Hasty to be the attacker, and he didn't want anything to do with it. So I understand. I don't blame him. National Night Out coming up October the 1st. We've got food, magic show, bounce houses. It's all going to be out at Catawba Park from 6 to 8 p.m. Grab your kids, grab your neighbors, come on out, interact with our public safety folks, especially our police officers. Should be a great night. We also have National Coffee with a Cop on October 3rd, and that's going to be at Knowledge Perk up on the corner. And then we've got Coffee with a Cop in the Memorial Gardens on October 4th. So back-to-back days, a chance to get a nice cup of coffee and interact with our law enforcement folks. And last but certainly not least from PD, we've got our Camp Cadet Golf Tournament, October the 18th. Sponsors can reach out to Sergeant Bowers, golfers or hackers. Get signed up. It supports a great cause, and really is one of the biggest things that really propels our Camp Cadet, gets it going. Let's see, for fire, they are fully staffed. Just recently welcomed firefighter Samantha Price. She's our second female firefighter, and comes to us from Newberry Fire Department. Her and her husband just relocated back up to relocated up to this area. Congratulations to Will Blackwelder, who has been promoted to the position of captain, and Anthony Knight to the position of lieutenant in our fire department. So Chief Hasty puts them through a very rigorous tryout, if you will, with a lot of question and answer and things like that. And those two rose to the top, and we're very proud of them and their promotion, well deserved. Mayor and Mr. Carter, thank y'all for coming out. The 911 ceremony was greatly attended. I think Chief and everybody involved there did a fantastic job with that. I was glad to see so many people from the community and staff able to participate there. They are scheduled to go visit with all the kindergartners at Gold Hill Elementary in the next several weeks. So prayers up to our firefighters. Taking that on. And then their open house that was mentioned previously is October the 13th. It will run from 2 until 4 p.m. In conjunction with Fire Prevention Week, and that'll be over at Station 1. All right. And I believe that concludes my report.
Thank you, Mr. Funderburk. And now we will cover council comments. Take it away, Councilman.
There we go. I wanted to say thank you to the residents that are here in attendance this evening and everybody that's watching online. Also want to say thank you to the city staff that keeps our amazing city running smoothly every single day. We've had a couple of storms that have happened since our last meeting, and our city staff and our first responders have done a wonderful job of keeping our community safe, clearing trees, clearing branches, limbs, going out on the TKK trails and blowing those off so those are nice and smooth and debris-free for people. So thank you so, so much. Also, since our last meeting, a few weeks ago, TKK lost one of their finest. And I wanted to make sure that I recognized Lieutenant Lauren Galloway, who passed away. It was and still is a very difficult time for the TKK PD. I want to say thank you to Chief Crosby for his leadership during this very difficult time for his department. They are a very, very close-knit department, and they are really, really leaning on each other right now through his leadership right now. PD is supporting each other daily, and they appreciate the support that the community has given them, and they really, really say thank you. Lieutenant Galloway's service was beautiful. It was touching. It was a wonderful tribute to her life. She's gone, but she will not be forgotten, and the city is working on ways to honor her memory and her legacy so it will live on forever. So just so you know, Lieutenant Galloway. Last week, we had, Charlie mentioned this, the 9/11 memorial. I want to say thank you to Chief Hasty, Caroline Hasty, Mayor Gray for being there, and the city staff that put the memorial together for honoring those first responders and others that lost their lives that day. It brought back a lot of memories. But one of the strongest memories that I remember from 9/11 was how everyone came together and really focused on being Americans and coming together. And that's one of the major messages that I like for people to really focus on and remember, especially moving into the next couple of months with stuff that's going on. We're all Americans. We're all in this together, and we all love each other. So support each other. So want to make sure that people download the City of TKK app. I want the TKK PD app as well to stay up to date with what's going on. The Business Connect meeting is coming up on Wednesday, the 18th, in a couple of days, by the EDC and the Chamber of Commerce. So that's going to be some great events. We have a whole bunch, the Pumpkin Palooza, the National Night Out, and we have a whole bunch of really great events that happen here in our community. We have such a strong community, so really focus on that and really take advantage of those opportunities that you can to get out, meet your neighbors, and just be a part of our community and do a lot more that way. Last but not least, I'd like to recognize someone in our community that does something positive and makes a positive impact in the community. Now, sometimes when you talk about social media, people think about negativity and people kind of complain and it divides people and that kind of stuff. But sometimes social media can be used in a really positive way. So this person has gone off and created a social media page that if people want to get rid of stuff, they post it on there and people scoop up these things right away. They don't want any strings attached. There's no money. There's no nothing. But it helps people, get rid of stuff in your house, and then other people, it helps them because they go off and get some stuff. So I won't say the name or anything like that because I don't want people to think I'm promoting that kind of thing. But that's a wonderful thing that people are doing on social media. And the person who did that or who organized that is Kristen Orujo. And I want to say thank you to Kristen. I'm good.
Thank you, Councilman Carter. Councilman Hyslip.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Great points there, Brian. I just want to start off saying thanks to all the staff, reiterating a little what Brian said with the storms, but all the festivals we've, all summer with the concert series, all the work that's gone into that across all departments. It's just a testament to your hard work and your teamwork and working together. Of course, Lieutenant Galloway, big loss to the city, to the department, and of course, the citizens really turned out support. Please keep her family and the PD in your thoughts and prayers going forward. And I would like to also say, welcome to the new employees. You're joining a great team. We have a wonderful staff. Excited to have you, and to the promotions, congratulations to all those. And I look forward to seeing everyone at Catawba Fest on the 12th. And that's all I have.
Thank you, Councilman Hyslip. Councilman Shirley.
So welcome to all the folks that attended this evening, either in person or online. I want to give a special thank you to the department heads that run our city. And I've said this before, but I'll continue to say it. When I drive into our city and I see how how beautiful and how clean and how welcoming our city is, it's not by accident, it's intentional. And it's intentional from the people that work in this city, the folks that are out picking up trash every morning from the parks, and the folks that are cleaning bathrooms in the public facilities, and folks that are putting dog poop bags in the little dog poop stations, and just the little things like this that make a great community. And you see hundreds of people walking our trails every day and enjoying the amenities that our city has. And I would thank the 3 department heads that are here tonight. And you guys probably have the most exposure of any of the department heads in the city, and you guys do a really great job. I appreciate your leadership, I appreciate your commitment to your teams and to the city, and your commitments to the residents. And it doesn't go unnoticed, and nor does it go unnoticed that every member of your team is committed to that. And I really appreciate that, and I want to recognize that. That's all I have tonight.
Thank you, Councilman Shirley. Mrs. Mayor Pro Tem.
Everybody always takes all the good stuff.
Especially Carter.
So when I first moved here, someone told me that you only invite people that you really want to stay in the fall or spring because it's so beautiful here, that's the only time that you invite people. You only invite the people that you would really want to come and live here. So we're about to get to fall season for TK, and there's nothing finer than fall season in TK. So for all the things that are coming up on the calendar, please check that out on the website. And I know Caroline's looking for some volunteers for Catawba Fest and Booze and Ghouls. I'm really interested in that Pumpkin Palooza. That's going to be a pumpkin walk at the Glennon Gardens, or the Memorial Gardens, right? Yeah, the Memorial Gardens, a walk. Oh, like a big wall? Okay. Yeah, so I'm going to put a pumpkin in there just to let you guys know. I was not able to attend the Veterans Memorial, and I'm sorry that I wasn't there, but I did see the pictures. It looked like a beautiful time. I was becoming a grandmother that day. It was not planned for that day, but that's how it happened. So that's the only reason I wouldn't have been there, but thank you for doing that, Chief Crosby, Chief Hasty, and staff, because I know that it was very meaningful to a lot of people in the city. And that's all that I have. Oh, chat with council is going to come up next week. We don't have an exact date and time yet, but it will be coming out probably tomorrow. So if you have questions, if you have a burning issue that you want to ask about or talk through, please come see Tom and I. We really do enjoy that time that we have to communicate with you guys, and nothing's off the table, so just ask away. That's all that I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Mayor Pro Tem. And so that comes to me. I would like to offer congratulations to the new grandparents. I understand that that young one is quite beautiful. You're not partial or anything, right?
I'll say that in microphone. He is really pretty.
Well, that's good. That's good. But congratulations for that. If you guys need some help, just call Tom. He's really good at changing diapers. But I'd like to kind of follow up with what everybody said. The 9/11 ceremony was very well put together. It was a very, very nice ceremony. And thank you, Chief, for all the work that you and Caroline did on that. And just to hit on that for just a second, folks, that's one of the days that we never want to forget as Americans. That was a day where we had terrorists that blew apart our country. They tried to destroy us, and they couldn't succeed because you can't kill Americans. You can't kill America. America is an idea that it's very, very old, not as old as some, but it brings everybody together. The harder you pound us, the more we come together, and it's the same way here in TK. The more you pound us, the more we come together. And I'd like to thank everyone for coming out to that ceremony. It was just a very, very nice ceremony. Lieutenant Galloway, she will be very much so missed. She was a good friend of mine as well. Great lady. The service, Chief, my hat's off to you. I don't know how you did it. I really don't, but it was a beautiful service. And Sergeant Boland did a very, very good job as well. I Wish she was still here, but nevertheless, like to thank Caroline Hasty for putting together another crazy, whack, funky event in the Pumpkin Palooza. Can't wait to carve my pumpkin. I'm gonna bring it. I'm bringing it. So I would like to encourage everyone in TK to do your best. But I will tell you, the last year's pumpkin, just setting the bar, it looked just like a hamburger and fries that you would get from McDonald's. And you could not tell the difference between if it was a real hamburger or if it was fries. And wasn't. I'm just saying that's how high the bar is. Down to the sesame seeds, folks. Down to the sesame seeds. So, but yeah, everybody come take advantage of that. October is jam-packed full of good stuff. Hence why we will not be able to do the Beer Bourbon Barbecue Festival this year. We've just got too much stuff going on. So we're going to try to slate that for next year and get that back together.
We'll just do it at your house, Mr. Mayor.
That's fine. That's fine. Just bring your grills and come on over to the house. We'll throw some game down. But I'd like to thank the staff. Folks, we've been getting pounded by a lot of storms. Our staff has done a tremendous job keeping the roads clear. And they're not just coming out at 2 o'clock in the afternoon and cranking a chainsaw. These folks are out at midnight, 5 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning, clearing this stuff out of the way. My hat's off to you, everyone, for doing that. I would ask that if you are walking on the trails or anywhere and you see trees down, please report them and please try to stay out of the area. Our guys are running large equipment. It's very noisy, it's very loud, and it is very difficult to see when it's early in the morning. So I would please ask folks to find an alternate route on your morning walks if we have trees down along the trails. It's very dangerous for you to be there. Please do not be in the area where our guys are working. And with that, fall is a beautiful time. If you have some friends that don't have anything to do for a weekend, tell them to come down and hang out with us. We're going to have a great time in October. If you get bored in October, it's your fault. There's a whole lot of good stuff to do. So just do that. Be safe and enjoy the fall weather. I am enjoying the cooler weather myself. But I just want to say, as we move into fall, we start looking toward Thanksgiving. Just starting to count your blessings. What are you really thankful for? I'm thankful that I have a city that's beautiful, that I have friends of mine on a council that we serve together, and we can make good decisions, and I appreciate each one of you. I'm thankful for our folks that we have here. Our citizens are second to none. You guys always do a great job in supporting each other. I'm thankful for the staff that we have. Our staff is just incredible. The folks that work for us, folks, they don't come any finer. So just starting to think, with Thanksgiving approaching, be thankful. Count your blessings. And with that, I will ask for a motion to go into executive session.
Mr. Mayor, members of council, make a motion the council goes into executive session.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
A second.
I have a motion and a second. We are in executive session.